We got you Mac and Mac guys here on Birds 365. Thanks for streaming in. We thank Chris Franklin for jumping in and joining us today. Been a couple of weeks since we had Chris Franklin on. Did you enjoy your time out in Arizona, Mr. Franklin?
Yeah, it was really great. I feel bad. You guys said they had the rain and the 50 degrees. When I went out there, it's like, you know what? I can.
It's finally nice. Yeah.
Finally. You some in your eye, Jody.
Yeah, I did. Hold on, I got it there again. Yeah, all right. Do you see that, Chris? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. I just wanted to make sure everything was all right with you.
Yeah.
Did you pet any llamas? Saw Dave out there petting llamas.
There may be a selfie I may have with one of them. I'm mad I didn't go with that first group. That first group went out and saw. I was like, "What are you guys doing?" But yeah, there were llamas and goats. Well, one thing, you have all these owners and these big wigs, and then all of a sudden you have like a mini petting zoo in the middle thing for the kids. I guess it's like there may be a picture. I'm not going to post it on Twitter, but there may be a picture there. There's a selfie with.
Were you more drawn to the llamas or the goats? That to me is an interesting question.
At first it was llamas, but then I don't know. Some of those goats, I kid you not, some of those goats had like pajamas on, and they were walking around like, "What the heck?" Yeah, I kid you not.
Goats are friendly, from what I remember of the past.
Well, it was fun to see. One of them obviously didn't like the other one, and see some fights going on. It was pretty. There's a lot going on with that whole entire thing.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't pet Howard Eskin, you're okay. That's a good thing. I got to give you props because you went the same place I did last week. And John said, yeah, I see what you're doing. Not happening. I think an under-the-radar need for the Philadelphia Eagles is wide receiver 3. Yeah, we're talking offensive line, defensive. That's what the Eagles always do. And they lose their 2 starting linebackers, their 2 starting safeties. They've brought some guys in, but we don't know how good their players are. Are they just another guy or whatever? They still have a need at wide receiver 3 because Quez had a less than stellar year this year. I'm sorry. I know some people still like Quez and the fact they can run by people. He didn't make plays this year. He dropped balls. I still think it's a need on his team. Not saying they're going to use their first-round draft pick or their second-round draft pick, but they need someone, and there are still guys out there in free agency. I ran Jarvis Landry by John last week, and he said, yeah, Jody, not happening. He's too good to be considered a wide receiver 3. If he's too good, why is he still on the market, Chris Franklin? If he's that good a player, where most of the best top starting free agents have now already been scooped up by other teams, why is Jarvis Landry still available?
I think he still wants that chance to be the guy, like either the number 1 or the number 2 guy, or for basically be a major starting person for a team. And when you're looking around right now, you're trying to look at some of the situations you guys can need him, and he's probably asking for a certain number, and he's not getting it, mainly because he hasn't been available the last 2 years. And listen, if they can, it'll be tough. It probably will be tough to add him on. I mean, granted, he only made like $3 million last year, but I think he's one of those guys where if he can convince them to say, hey, you know what? If you want to go get a ring, if you want to have a chance to win a championship, come here. And I think he'd be beneficial. I like Quez. I still like Quez too. I really do. But I think from a spacing standpoint, you lost Zach Pascal. You don't have. You have so many questions after him. Like Greg Ward, Britton Covey was mainly your punt returner, and you had Devin Allen. You don't know as well too. There's so many question marks you have behind there. If you add them in there, at least spacing wise, you're good. And think about those 5 if you go 5 wide receivers, even if you include Dallas Goedert, I didn't know that. But think of the spacing and the option. You can open things up more on the outside. Quez can have more opportunities for things downfield, and you have a reliable guy who can get first downs and prove he can be a reception machine. So I'd be open to the idea of bringing him in on that aspect.
Yeah, with Landry, I don't think it's much as money. Like, he's not Odell Beckham Jr. wants $15 million, but I think it's more about opportunity. Here, Chris, you're not getting football. I mean,
right.
AJ's getting the ball, Devontae's getting the ball, Dallas is getting the ball. So from my standpoint, somebody like Jarvis Landry is saying, well, I gotta get some touches. And ultimately, I think he'll be able to find a spot which gives him a little bit more traffic. So that's my issue. But, I'm going to give Xander, our producer, a little shout out here for St. Joe's Prep. That kid from Atlanta, I don't want to butcher his name, but to me, he's a perfect fit. One, he's a slot receiver. Olamide and I don't want to butcher his last name, but he's a slot receiver. He's short. He's 5'8", and that's what you want. Not that short, but I mean,
Jarvis
he's a
Landry
natural
can play
slot.
That's,
yeah, but I'm saying Landry wants the football. I'm saying Olamide can't say, oh, hey, I want to come in and I need the football. Jarvis Landry's a whatever, 4-time Pro Bowl player, whatever. He's got some cachet in this league. You can say, I need the football. He's not going to get traffic here. A young kid like that, he's going to accept his role. He's got return skills. So you have that double sort of hit. That to me is more likely the draft proofing aspect of what the Eagles will do, not the veteran player who still thinks he's got, gas left in the tank.
I think you still do both.
Right?
I think you still do both, because that way, if you sign up for a 1-year deal, you don't do the 2 or 3 years. Whoever gets also a 2-year deal, I think that's where he goes. He knows at least he has some type of security. But I think you can do a 1-year deal, have him come in. Then you got, I like Tyler Scott of Cincinnati. I like him as well too, as a possibility as well too, being like a slot guy. Have him come back in, allow him to get like a year to learn that way, because we all know what rookie wide receivers, not all of them come in and are immediate impacts and able to help them out. And this team, to me, like there's a certain window they have here in order to do that. So I think you keep that window open. You bring in Landry, he does his thing. Then the following year, you got Scott or whatever guy they draft. I'd even use a 3rd-round pick on a slot guy. I think that's important in this offense. Have them come in, and then you'll have him for 2, 3, 4 year 2, 3, 4, and see what he can do.
Olamide Zacchaeus, by the way, I'll do it. That's who I would sign if I'm the Eagles. St. Joe's Prep, bring him home. Magnolia, New Jersey, bring him home. That would be
the bring him home thing didn't really work for their outside linebacker this year, did it? Mr. White was here for 1 year, and then they said, "Thanks for coming home. Now get the hell out." Wow. I don't know how much the bring him home thing lasts 1 year. And are you talking about just 1 year for him?
I'm talking about just 1 year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because in Kaiser White, it worked with Kaiser White. He played a little bit too well. And, he got, as Chris pointed out, at this stage, if you can get 2 years, you're going to take 2 years. Kaiser got 2 years. He only got 1 year. So that tells you, not a great player, but he played well enough to get 2 years. So I'll go down that route with you. Linebacker's another position, Chris. Now they have draft proof with Nicholas Morrow, the 18th century author, who is right now penciled in to play next to Nakobe Dean. They can't be done at linebacker, can they?
I think they might be. I think they might be. And if they take somebody like round 7, 6, 7, okay, maybe. But I just look at the way that this team seems to go with the assets they use at the linebacker. I don't see another really true impact guy, and they really use it for them. When you look at it, they usually like 2 off the ball guys unless they're in goal line, and then sometimes I've never seen Dean on the field as well too when they came in the goal line situations. But at least this way, the 2 lighter guys, and that's the thing that concerns me, is you're going to have to need your defensive tackles to play very well to keep them to keep offensive linemen off them, because they're not the biggest guys, and we know what this team has had issues. If you can find an Achilles heel on this defense in the past, have been the run game, when they really, if you're not giving up 3rd and 30s. Yeah. But that's, I think, when you look at the run game as well too, and they're not bigger guys, so you worry about them wearing down. So I like their in the pass game or playing in space, if they can be kept clean, they can flow the ball. I have no problem with them flowing to the ball. It's a matter of making sure that they have the opportunity to get to the ball. So I think they may draft somebody late, but I don't think it's going to be another
boy. How important is Jordan Davis this year? Then it's important for them to flow to the ball, because woof.
Yeah, when you look at Jordan Davis, when you look at Fletcher Cox, Mel Williams, those 3 right there, I'm just like, all right, guys, you got to make sure you play gaps soundly in their gaps, because you can't be rolling with those guys back there. You can't be stunning or doing a twist and rolling yourself out of position. And next thing you know, you got a guard coming right down on Nakobe Dean. It's like, all right, we got a guard coming down on Morrow, and then next thing you know, 6, 7 yards a pop. So those guys have to make when you look at Davis, you hope that I think right now. I think he's a better run stuffer. And if he gets the opportunity to show like he throws into that additional pass rush move or two, I think he can be even better. But you really rely on Fletcher Cox.
They've got a legitimate box safety this year, so. Is Edmonds going to make like 120 tackles? Is that what you're telling me? Because the linebackers might be occupied, so it's all going to come down to that safety who's going to come up and make every single tackle all year. Is Edmonds that good?
I like Edmonds. I think for what you need him for 1 year, what he is. I mean, obviously, I think when you look at the impact if the Steelers, how much they value defense over there, and especially if it's a guy, the fact they let him go. And I mean, they signed him to a 1-year extension eventually last year, but the fact they said, okay, we'll move on. I can't
figure out why Terrell Edmonds can't get paid. I mean, he's not great. And by paid, I don't mean, I mean like $4 or $5 million, like 2 years. Like, I can't figure it out. He started 70 games. He's a 5-year starter on a pretty good defense more often than not. He's got durability. It's not like everybody else the Eagles signed with all these injury issues. He's pretty solid when you look at the PFF numbers. What the hell's going on with Terrell Edmonds? Explain it to me, Chris.
Well, I also think it's a safety. Also think it's a safety, the value of the safety position as a whole. When you look at the guys, I mean, asking when I was at the league meetings, you can hear, and when it came to I don't want to say this already. Pittsburgh, but Mike Tomlin. I was like, why am I blanking on Mike Tomlin? Oh, great, good job, Chris. When you look at Mike Tomlin, the way he was explaining, it's like basically because safety there's not really a free or strong safety. It's more a left or right, and just sort of match up depending on the scheme. So you just basically look at cover. Like it's almost becoming interchangeable where you got a corner safety. Some of those guys are being asked to do the same type of job, so you're just basically looking for the best cover guys. And we know when you look at Edmonds, he's not he's more of a running. Yeah, so that's why I think that comes into play as well too.
Here's where I go with John on this one, and I'm gonna feel bad as soon as the words come out of my mouth because I really like the guy. Is Epsy 3 times the player that Terrell Edmonds is? Edmonds gets $2 million. Epsy gets 6. How does that math work? That just doesn't seem to add up to me.
Versatility and opportunity. I think if you had to rank them going into free agency, Epps is a better safety than Edmonds.
Agreed.
You take them off.
3 times the safety.
Hey, yep. That's when your agent comes in. That's when that's when Epps looks at his agent and goes, "I'm keeping you around for a while." When it comes to that, but yeah, I mean, you don't want to get beat. When you look at it, it's a passing league, and Epps is a better cover guy than Edmonds, and you want to get guys like that. You can feel a little more comfortable on the back end.
Well, let's talk about the other safety that everyone forgets about, and that's Justin Evans. How we called all these 1-year deals lottery tickets when you guys were out there. Do you get the feeling the Eagles hope the lottery ticket comes in with Justin Evans more than Terrell Edmonds for what you were talking about? He's the traditional coverage safety, or he was before the injuries. And he was a starter in Tampa Bay and things were going well before the injuries started to pile up, but he's still young. In theory, he could be a cover safety. Do they hope he's the Powerball ticket and not Terrell Edmonds at safety?
I think for them, as long as they get about 2, if 2 of them hit, 2 like 5 those 5 1-year deals, 6 7 years hit, they'll be happy with anybody on that one. But I think if you had to look, compared to either safety, I think so, because I think he has more range when you look compared to Edmonds as well too. Man, he was thought of very high. It seems something with these with the Eagles loving these Saints defenders as well too. So he's coming from that system as well too. That's when it comes to that. And I look at this.
He played in the slot last year too. He played in the slot for the first time.
Yep.
So they like that mirrored sort of ability that CJ showed, although they didn't like it enough to sign CJ, but they like it.
And also, when you look at as much, it sounds like the side's going to use a lot more like man-to-man matching, and you need a cover guy to be able to do that and to be able to communicate effectively. To know, okay, I can see this receiver is going inside. Okay, I can pass him off because I know he's going in this area. Let me go back and try to get somebody else. So you need more cover guys in that back end if you want to run that system.
All right, Chris. I like to make it easy on our guests every once in a while and give them multiple choice questions. So I got a multiple choice question for you.
Okay. All right.
I think we can all agree that the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 next year is going to be Jalen Hurts, whether they get the contract done or not. Marcus Mariota's not starting for him, so it's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Their number one competition in the NFC last year and most likely this year will be the San Francisco 49ers. Their starting quarterback opening week next year will be, assuming that Brock Purdy's not going to be ready, and I saw this week 6 to 8 months, which is going to go past opening day. So it's not going to be Brock Purdy, but it could be Trey Lance. It could be Sam Darnold, who they signed as a free agent. There are reports out there that they attempted to get their hands on Kirk Cousins during this offseason. All right, that opportunity may have passed. And Aaron Rodgers still hasn't been traded yet to the New York Jets. And my buddy Craig Carton said yesterday, Jets, don't fall asleep at the wheel here, because San Francisco could jump in and steal Aaron Rodgers and get him back to the West Coast again. Who's going to be the opening day quarterback for the 49ers, who are probably the Eagles' number one challenger for the NFC Championship this year? Lance, Darnold, Cousins, or Rodgers?
I'll take it a step further. I know we haven't got the dates out for when the Eagles and that rematch between the Eagles and 49ers are going on, but I even say I look at Lance. I think Lance is going to be the guy, and they're going to give him every opportunity because they use a high draft pick on him, and it's a bad look. I wouldn't be surprised if Lynch, even I know they have all this talent around everywhere else, but Lynch goes down and go, make sure you keep him in just a little bit more, give him every chance to do that, because I think he'll actually do all right. I mean, how many times you see these guys get injured, and it gives them a different perspective of the game and watch them, and you want him to get every opportunity. You wanted him to get every opportunity to start to look at a feel for the mental aspect and the intelligent parts of the game when running the offense and everything. He has got the physical tools. Another year older, and now you add that part to it as well. I think he'll be all right, and I think he'll be a decent job. And that, I like it. I know everybody talks about the NFC East rivalries. Now they got the Cowboys. I think they really have a good budding one developing with San Francisco, and it could be one of those things where you start to look at Hurts and Lance going at it multiple. You see them twice a year, once or twice a year, depending on where they finish their standings.
Playoffs,
I think it's that good.
Yeah, with the 49ers stuff is in. I mean, they have. I'm just looking it up. The $3 million in cap space, the $2 million in effective cap space if you go over the cap. So that's what they really have to work with. So I don't know how they get Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I don't know how you manipulate that. Now, Cousins, Jody and I were talking about that last week. Kyle Shanahan's wanted him forever. And it seems like every year they talk about acquiring him, but Minnesota doesn't want to give him up because they can't get better. I thought maybe that would have been a fit this year because Trey Lance is from Minnesota. And you say, maybe there's something. They have a young general manager. Maybe they want to turn it over. But that now it's too late in the process. Call me crazy. I think you're right. They're going to default to Trey Lance because they have to default to Trey Lance. I think Sam Darnold's going to win that job, and I think he's going to be the quarterback the entire season.
Really?
And
no. You don't think Purdy's going to be given a chance after what he did last year? You continue to just downplay what Purdy did last year. John McMullen, who always talks about you shouldn't be held to where your draft status was, the friggin' guy went undefeated. And had a quarterback ranking better than Jalen Hurts, but you don't want to give Purdy a chance.
Here's why, Jody. He tore his UCL. He's out. And the problem is San Francisco's so good. They're going to win games. And they're going to win games when he's not ready and they're not going to want to switch when he is healthy. Now, if somebody gets hurt, then he'll be given an opportunity to get back in.
By the way, you're stamping Sam Darnold at staying healthy for 17 games.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to stay healthy. But it doesn't matter. Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, they're going to win games. And by the way, I got news for you. Aaron Rodgers, they win the Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins, they win the Super Bowl. They're going to win games with anybody. That's how good they are. And Sam Darnold is going to be the quarterback in San Francisco. That's my bold prediction on April 5th.
Yeah.
I think if Kirk Cousins is on there,
I got to watch Sam Darnold play a lot.
I saw by. I'm not saying he played well, but this is different. This is different. I know Jody's a huge Brock Purdy fan. I am not. I freely admit. Kyle Shanahan protected that guy. Kyle Shanahan is the best in the business when it comes to play calling, when it comes to offensive scheming. Now, as a head coach, he's got some issues with time management and the rest of it. But as far as play calling, scheming, he did it with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo stinks, and he's still making money. Anybody who's playing quarterback is going to be successful as long as they have the talent. They have the talent. Talent's a big part of it.
How about Josh Johnson? Have we forgotten the NFC Championship game this year? Yeah, somehow the miracle worker that is Kyle Shanahan couldn't make Josh Johnson into.
By the way, if he had a couple weeks to prepare, he would have made him look good. I'm exaggerating, but I mean he's got more transactions. You lose ink in your printer if you try to print out Josh Johnson's transactions. But I'm telling you. Trey Lance is going to get the first chance. I mean, we were talking about Andre Dillard here, default to the first round pick. And when you take a kid, what was he, 3rd overall? Yeah, he's getting another chance. So it's up to, he'll probably get hurt though.
And I think everybody in the NFC would jump at the chance if Darnold's going to be the starting quarterback. I think I think in Philadelphia, I feel a little more comfortable as well too, because, and just like I know I said with Lance, you get older, you see that. I don't know what it is about it. He's like a turnover machine. Like, and he has to have a lot of like the moment something bad goes wrong with him, it just seems like it just exponentially gets worse and worse.
But he will protect him. He will protect him. By he, I mean Kyle Shanahan. He will protect him. It'll be all play action. It'll all be wide open receivers. If it's not, it'll be manufactured touches. Be forewarned, Sam Darnold.
And also, if you got Kirk Cousins real quick.
They're winning the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins.
I don't know. What time's the NFC Championship game next year? 6:30. I think that counts as going towards prime time. I don't know.
I went through the same thing. I went through the same thing for years, Chris. With Matthew Stafford. Everybody, I'd say, you talk to people around the league. They love the guy. He's a good quarterback. He's in a bad organization. He's in a bad situation. I can't tell you how many people told me, Matthew Stafford can't do this. Matthew Stafford can't do that. Matthew Stafford stinks. No, his team stinks. His organization stinks. And then all of a sudden, he goes to the Rams and bang, he wins the Super Bowl. And by the way, Jaworski Tart intercepts the ball. He doesn't win the Super Bowl. But the larger impact is when you say so-and-so, insert name, can't win a Super Bowl, that's bull bleep. Yeah. I mean, good quarterbacks can win Super Bowls if they have the right, ecosystem around them. Matthew Stafford proved it. As I said, Kyle Shanahan would love to prove it with Kirk Cousins. He can't get him. There's a lot of guys. Derek Carr's in that category. Is he great? No. Is he good enough? If everything's perfect, yes. No question about it. That's just,
all right.
Jimmy Garoppolo he almost won with. Garoppolo.
And there's another guy I think you're not giving enough credit to. I think anything that Kyle Shanahan touches, he's going to get credit. The quarterback's going to get nothing in McMullen's eyes. All right, I'm going to take a shot at somebody here, an entire organization, and you tell me if I'm being unfair. I think, not because they're 1-4, but I think the Philadelphia Phillies have screwed up. They're got their home opener tomorrow.
Oh, no, I know.
And they're having Nick Sirianni throw out the first pitch. Now, I like Nick. You like Nick. John likes Nick. We're all Nick Sirianni fans here. But how do you not choose Jalen Hurts over Nick Sirianni? And more importantly, how do you not choose Jason Kelce over Nick Sirianni? you're just doing it to get a rise out of the crowd, right? You want the place to go nuts. Who better than Jason Kelce to go out there? Maybe even first pitch between his legs. I don't know, but I think the Phillies screwed up by picking the wrong Philadelphia Eagle representative to throw out the first pitch. Am I being unfair?
I think because something tells me that Jason's still at home right now. And after that video got out there, I know it was a joke, but after that one got out there, he might want to stay. He's going to probably stay around enjoying his new daughter. And something tells me that Hurts is still out there out west, or he's probably working out, focusing on working out. So it's like, all right, you know what? Let's get that. If I'm waiting to see if Nick Sirianni on the back has dog mentality on the background too,
and whispers into the microphone, he's an Astros fan. I think the Eagles made the right decision. First of all, to use the three names.
By putting the pander in chief?
Yes. For exactly the reason.
Give me some video of the 13-year-old Nick Sirianni in his Phillies cap.
No, but Nick Sirianni, he's a Pirates fan, by the way, Nick Sirianni. But he is the pander in chief. He can do it. He can put on the shirt and he can do like Jalen wants to put on that Astros hat. He doesn't want to be the pander in chief. Nick wants to be the pander in chief. With Jason Kelce, he injured the fanatic last year doing this, so they don't want him back. Yeah, I think it's a perfect decision. Nick has perfected pandering. I think he's always
taken it to a new level. Yes, we can agree on that.
Yes.
Maybe it's because I see through it that it does bother me a little bit because I know that it's just 100% phony. He's very good at it, but it's still just stone cold phony. All right, Chris Franklin, always a pleasure. Appreciate you jumping in with us today. What do you got planned for the rest of your day?
Well, I believe we may have speaking to somebody else this afternoon.
To meet the backup quarterback, a little Marcus.
Oh, Mariota's today?
Yeah. Rumor has that's going to be it. And then also working on another story as well, too. Actually, had to go to North Jersey yesterday for a story. So I was working on something on that, too. So I'm looking forward to it. Got a few things in the kitchen.
Will Marcus Mariota say nice things about Chip Kelly today?
That's his Chip. That Chip's almost like son, pretty much. Yeah. So he will.
And I expect one of you two to at least make it difficult on him to say something. You realize that Chip Kelly ended up being a failure here, who got fired, who got Howie Roseman almost opposed.
I love that.
What are you guys going to go down that road with Marcus for me today, right?
Why do people always want to destroy our careers, Chris? They want us to ask these questions.
No.
Oh,
we want to destroy Chip Kelly.
By the way, Marcus.
If it costs your career along the way, so be it. But I need to take some more shots.
By the way, Marcus, the guy who made you as a prospect is an asshole.
Exactly. That's the way you need to phrase it, McMullen. It's on you, buddy. Perfect. Thank you very much.
That's the question you ask right before you're going to you're going to retire that next day. It's like, exactly. All right, that's the question you ask right before. It's like, well, what are you going to do? I know I'm done. So, that's the thing you throw out.
Who in the Eagle organization is going to have a problem with that question after the fact? Nobody. Nobody. You're not going to get fired. Your outlet is going to fire you for asking a tough question.
Well, that's not a tough
You may never get another quote from the player you're asking it to. But the Eagles are fine with it. There's no blowback from the Eagles for putting Chip Kelly on blast.
That's not a tough question, though. That's just you're being petty to Chip Kelly.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Being
a rabbit punch right behind the box. It was a rabbit punch. All right,
and I say all the time, Chip, there's a lot of bad to Chip, but there's a lot of good. He brought so much to the NFL. He was ahead of his time that everybody uses today. He just didn't have a filter. He didn't, he didn't realize the good stuff and the bad stuff, Like treating Jason Peters like he's a 21-year-old kid who can go forever, or expecting grown men to wear sleep monitors. You can get away with that in college. You can't. Or checking their urine. It's too yellow, Chris.
I don't know how to help follow that one up. I'm trying to think of something funny to go with the gold.
Giving you some
the golden rule is not to have gold. What the heck? I don't know.
When you're talking to grown men that their urine's too yellow, it starts some issues.
guys, go to tequila. You can't make it. You start partying a little bit late. Yeah, I can sit. No, nah, I'm not. That's gonna be awkward in the auditorium. Like, you say what? Nah.
The only former Philadelphia major power broker that I'd like to kick more when he's down than Chip Kelly would be Sam Hinkie. Yeah, I'd take bigger shots at him, but yeah, Chip
What's
would
the
work
process?
just fine with me. Yeah, he is. You got me to do it
MVP.
again. Get that thing out of my eye. Yeah, Chris Franklin. Thank you very much. That's what I think.
Have a good one now.
Chris, thanks, buddy. We'll get you up again next week.
Don't get in trouble at the press conference. Don't
think Chip Kelly for Marcus Mariota. That's Chris Franklin from NJ.com here with us on Birds 365. All right, quickie timeout. You know what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. That'll be Marcus Mariota on Birds 365. The question is, how are we going to put a bow on the show for today?